Hello, this is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com, bringing you another edition of Keeping Modern Janky. I think we'll keep this hand. We have Thoughtseize and Ragavan. Too bad we're not on the play. We have a Fatal Push in case they have their own Ragavan. Playing Outlaw Aristocrats with... Ooh, interesting. With Stoneforge, Solitude, Ephemerate. Huh. What do we want to take? Probably the Solitude. Oh man, the Ephemerate though gets a lot of value for their Stoneforge if they decide to keep it up. So it's either the Ephemerate or the Solitude. I think we'll take the Ephemerate. That seems to be like the most value with what our opponent's trying to do, which is blink. And if they want to do Stoneforge, then, well, we see, I mean, cast the Stoneforge, go get something. We'll Fatal Push the Stoneforge, just Cryptic Coat. And we can Fatal Push and cast Ragavan this turn. We could also just... No, we're going to Fatal Push and cast... I'm going to say we could... I was going to say we could just go ahead and run out the Dauthi Voidwalker and not worry about this. Return it to its owner's hand. When it enters the battlefield, cloak the top card of your library. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked. Okay, well, we'll Fatal Push. Play Ragavan. See if we can't draw into another removal spell. That's a 3/2. Alright, well, we're going to attack. So what we could do is run out the Zulaport Cutthroat and start getting the draining in of our creatures dying. But Voidwalker is so powerful as far as a 3/2 shadow that I'm not sure I want to do that yet. I feel like there's no way our opponent doesn't block here, especially given that they can re-equip for, or return it to their hand for 2, yep. Right now we're just playing a Rakdos mid-range strategy, kind of. Rakdos scam without the scam. Not that our opponent knows that. They saw with Thoughtseize. And that's how it's been this entire league, is we've had some getting rid of probably the Ragavan. See if they have they drew the Ephemerate as well. That would be a pretty big blowout. Yeah, they did. Alright, well, I mean, our best laid plans, we got rid of one Ephemerate, and they drew another one. So what can you do? I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, so far our Aristocrat plan hasn't really come through. It's been mostly just Rakdos wins, unfortunately. What do we draw? We could use a land and we could use other things. Another Voidwalker. The land would allow us to do 2 turns, with 2 things in a turn, which would be really nice, but... Alright, opponent's down to 1 card. What is it? And it's the Cryptic Cloak. So they're drawing Unknown. And they're just going to rebound the Ephemerate, get rid of our Voidwalker. I guess we could have done nothing that turn, or played the Zulaport Cutthroat instead. Probably would have been a smarter play, to be honest, so as to not give them a target for this Solitude. Yep. That way they can return it to their hand, I guess. Alright, what do we draw? Something good. Another Zulaport Cutthroat. Run that guy out there, I guess. Setting up, if we ever draw a land, to do two things in a turn. So they have a card draw engine online right now. They're going to start gaining some life back. We need to draw a lightning bolt if we want to have hope to answer this. We also would just like to draw a yep. So going off, so now this is just a face down creature with Ward 2. Alright. Making a little army. Can we put together enough cards to find a way out of this? We need lands and spells. Holy moly. Alright. Cool, man. All the Voidwalkers. And then none of the lands are anything else. It's been 4 Voidwalkers. Oh man, it's called the race is on with this lifelink. We're getting outvalued by all these 2/2s basically. Turn it to their hand. Run it back. I'll just F6 through this. Play it again. Get another 2/2. Yeah, and they're making a little army. So this is the first time I've actually seen Cryptic Code do anything. I guess this is why it gets played a lot. We still want lands and spells. That's the thing. I don't think we can race this life gain though very well. We need we're going to take, man, we're taking 7 a turn and we're going to do 6 a turn. They're gaining 3, so we're doing 3 a turn basically. Stoneforge Mystic. So opponent's really just going off, empty their hand, we're dead on board, we don't have any real way out of this. Had a really interesting, drew all 4 of our Voidwalkers. Alright, well, so we could just bring in all of this. Molten Collapse might be okay. I feel like we could, I mean, Leyline of the Void hates on Ephemerate after it's resolved, but at that point they've already gotten some value out of it, so I'm just not sure it's worth it. Bringing in 9 cards, that's a lot. Thoughtseize was, I mean, we saw what our opponent had going on, right? We took the Ephemerate, they kept Solitude and Stoneforge, and yeah, they did a really good job of drawing. Alright, so Blood Moon could be okay. Tinybones isn't, I mean, yeah, our deck is already pretty much lined up to beat what our opponent's doing. We want all the removal. Unfortunately, we're probably going to take out our Aristocrat package. Yeah, I mean, that's what's been one of the issues here with... Alright, we'll keep it. We have lands and spells. One of our issues with our league so far is that we've had some mana issues, mana problems, but other than like the one win with Ob Nixilis against Control, we haven't really seen much of our Aristocrat package going off. Do they have the answer for our Ragavan? No, they do not currently, unless they want to Solitude it. Do we draw a Blood Moon? We don't. Brotherhood's End is nice though. As is Molten Collapse. To answer a big threat. Being sorcery speed is not ideal, but what do we hit? Marsh Flats. Still surveilling. I guess they're kind of thinking they'll take hits. I mean, they just don't have an answer maybe, but like, okay, we're going to take our hits. If we hit, kind of want, we don't have the, alright, we're just going to go ahead and get the Blood Crypt. Lightning Bolt. Alright, well, we are hoping they don't have a Solitude or that they use their Solitude after we had, or even before attacks. That's fine, because then we can stick this Ob Nixilis with our treasure token. Another one, and another Marsh Flats. It's 2 Marsh Flats off the top. Opponent's reading the rarely, if ever, played card in Modern. Now they have 2 good targets for Solitude if they have a Solitude. We have a handful of removal, so we're really hoping our opponent ends up playing a fair game like last turn. Our last game it is going for Sky, Cleave, Boo and Hiss. Going after the Ob Nixilis, I assume. So we get a 4/4. Ragavan. And they scoop it up. Alright, well, sometimes, man, just a whole bunch of removal. So I guess that's how you get a hit again, being on the play versus draw, but we had a handful of removal with a couple threats. Now what do we want to do? Same thing, run it back. We didn't actually see any of our Blood Moons, which seemed pretty good against our opponent's deck. We could try to roll in Vortexes to help with the Life Gain shenanigans, but then what do we take out? I mean, Brotherhood's End looked really bad there, although it would have been game-changing in the first match, right? When we were about to lose to all the Flood, but we brought in 3 more removal spells. I don't know. I think we just run it back and hope we have a good start. I think that's the way we need to fight this, with a threat backed up with removal. Our 4 lands and a Ragavan and 2 Orcish Bowmasters. Interesting. Do we mulligan? It could be so much worse. And they're starting with 7 in hand. Alright, well, the Voidwalkers, everything is good in our hand. The Kingpin is what we're playing towards. We can't cast the Voidwalker currently, so what is it do we want? I think we have to just go with and hope to draw. I mean, that's the one we can cast first if we draw a black source. Double Thoughtseize, huh? Alright, well. See what 7 they decided to keep. That was so good. Skyclave, Satura the Infiltrator. Again with the ephemerate nonsense. I mean, I think we take... the ephemerate is really good at protecting things. Those are really good at answering our threats. And then blinking it. Take their first play. And then next turn maybe we'll reevaluate depending on what they draw. Alright, we need some lands. Keep some top. See if they drew another Satura. We need lands and spells. So, Ragavan. So they have an ephemerate. Let's see what they drew, because we're gonna dash in a Ragavan. They drew a Fatal Push. Alright. Oh, sigh. Magic. Oh, they kept the Fatal Push on top. I mean, we could have Thoughtseized their hand, but at the end of the day, we know they're playing their next turn. They can cast a Skyclave Apparition. A Wall of Omens. Gonna get some card draw value going. At which point they could have just... I mean, if we had Thoughtseized and taken... Anyway, yeah. Lands and spells is what we need. If we had Thoughtseized, saw the Fatal Push, we would have then cast the Ragavan into a Skyclave Apparition. And we have 2 of them, so it wouldn't have mattered if we had taken 1 or... Another Lightning Bolt. Okay, Thoughtseize. No, 2 Ephemerates and a... 2 Skyclave Apparitions and the Ephemerate. So opponent's not drawing particularly well other than that one Thoughtseize, or that one Fatal Push, and now they're going to get another 2 cards out of this. Oh man, and we're again stuck on lands. It's been the story of the league, is land issues. Unable to cast 2 things in a turn. We're onto turn, about to go into turn 5 without drawing a land. They get a Cryptic Coat. And it has ward 2, so we can't even lightning bolt it because we don't have another mana. Do we draw a land this time? And then they can just return it to their hand. Tinybones. It's not a land. But, you know. That's a target for Skyclave Apparition. Which we'll probably want to bolt so that they can't do their blink shenanigans. Yeah, I mean, we're stuck. It's turn 5. Sorry, turn 4, now going into turn 5. We had 4 draws to find any sort of lands, and we haven't drawn any. And we have the same, we've drawn into some answers, like a lot of answers, but we haven't been able to pair the answers with threats. In part because we're not drawing lands. If we'd been able to play Dauthi Voidwalker and a Lightning Bolt in the turn, for instance. And we get a nice 1/1. I guess we could Brotherhood's End mocks us. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Destroy target non-creature, non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less. Yeah, it is what it is. 5 draws in, no lands. Opponent can start returning the Cryptic Coat. We just can't find a land. And now we're not even, I mean, we have 3 cards that are dead in our hand, and because of Ward 2, we have basically 5 cards that are dead in our hand. It's pretty incredible. Alright, well, it looks like we'll be going to our 5th match, hoping to get our magical 2/3, and perhaps we'll have to add a land to the deck between leagues. Well, if you watch my videos, you know that I'm the Ward 2 that is just added to random creatures that, for instance, like the cloaked creature here. I mean, it makes flavor sense. It's kind of cool, but then like you just have a random cloaked creature that has Ward 2, but you won't give the 5-drop Mythic Dragons any sort of protection. Not consistently, at least. Wizards needs to do a better job of casting, giving Ward to the bigger threats. All right, well, we hit a red source. Oh man, they can just return. We finally hit our land on turn 7. We hit our 3rd land. That was the first land. We had a 2-land hand, and we drew into a land on turn 7. Return the cryptic coat, yeah. And they've been able to stockpile cards. Now they're ephemerating to draw more cards while we are hoping to draw lands. Still having to deal with the ward 2 on the cryptic coat. I mean, they've just been able to get so much value out of this cryptic coat while stockpiling cards. I mean, they may have terrible draw cards, but they probably have Solitude mana or something like that. Just gonna do it again. Yeah, why not? We're at 9 after all. 3-2 and a 2-2. We're taking 5. I mean, the ward 2 is just brutal. And all the card draw, the Wall of Omens. I mean, it's possible we could have Molten Collapsed or something at some point to get rid of the Wall of Omens, but yeah, I just go ahead and bolt that. But it just doesn't even, it's just, you know, barely stopping the bleeding because it just goes back over here as an artifact equipment. Return it to your hand, do it all again, grind out the value. I mean, we're in the position, there's just, we don't have any way to come back. I mean, we have an Ob Nixilis, but these things can't be blocked. I'm sure they have lots of like Solitudes and other answers in their hand because of all the time, all the chances that all this time they've been able to just draw cards. Alright, so they uncloak the Satora so that they can start drawing extra cards again. It's got Menace. Gonna draw some more cards. Is this a Solitude? They're gonna exile my Ob Nixilis, it looks like. Oh man, brutal. We're yet again looking at, well, if we draw a Brotherhood in, we might have a chance. So we can Molten Collapse. This is just an artifact equipment again. Holy cow. Alright. So we Molten Collapse something like this. And then cast a Tinybones. So Molten Collapse this, cast a Tinybones to block and stay alive for a little bit longer. But yeah, I think this one's over. Alright, well, it's a pretty painful loss, man. I won't lie. For CyclesGaming.com, this is Johnny Cycles. We'll catch you on the next one. See what we're drawing here. Yeah, I mean, we didn't make a third land drop until turn 7. So that's what happens. Alright, I'll catch y'all on the next one. This has been another edition of Keeping Modern Janky with Johnny Cycles. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my website, cyclesgaming.com, for original Magic the Gathering content. You can read about my Commander decks or my Janky Modern brews. My latest article is about the Zombie Precon and its effect on Commander. I give you a couple different deck lists. If you're interested in a science fiction / fantasy novel, be sure to check out my book, The Podcon. I'm publishing it serially, a couple chapters every month. Again, thanks for watching. Check me out on YouTube, Johnny Cycles. Click that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next one.